So today we're at Ardgarten in Argyll and we're off to red stags. Now it's about 4:30 in the afternoon and I've just got to double check my zero on the Ruger M77 all weather. Now I've been using this without the moderator, and up here because of the location the stalk would prefer that we used a mod, so which is going to affect my point of impact. Not by a huge amount, but we need to make sure that we're cock on. So just going to fit up the mod now, stick a couple of shots down, make the necessary adjustments, and then go for an afternoon stalk. Okay, first shot straight in the black, and I've just got the thumbs up from our guide. So it would appear I'd zeroed my rifle at 300 yards, about 3.5 inches high at 200 without the moderator. So adding the mod has just pulled it down so it's cock on at 100 yards. So that's the quickest, simplest, most straightforward zero check I think I've ever had. So all we need to do now is head and find our stag. This is a truly beautiful part of the country, and I'm very fond of hunting in Scotland. But as you can see, nothing around here is flat. And for a big boy like me, these mountains pose a bit of a challenge. Okay, we're at the Ardgarten Forest near Ardgarten, and we're with Willie Merrilees, who's our guide for today. So Willie, it's been a bit rainy. We've just been caught in a bit of a shower, but it seems to have cleared up. What's the plan for us now?
Well, at the minute we're going to walk out this cycle track, heading west and try to come back into the wind, into these shoulders here. Hopefully we'll find a beast tucked in out of the wind.
Now we've already seen one just up here about 420 yards away, looking right down at us, and he's got a couple of hinds up there with him. No doubt there's a few more. He seems pretty alert. Yeah. So it seems like they're roaring up here at the moment.
Well, they should be. We should hear something further out. Yeah. Especially as the evening goes on, So.
Good. Does the rain make any difference to these, or do they just stay out all the way?
Well, it does. Ideally we're needing cold weather. Frost makes it better, brings the hinds into season. There's a bit more action. So it's up and down just now with the weather. So.
Okay. So well, let's head on and see what we can see then.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure my guide Willie is half mountain goat and half man, as he's always 30 yards ahead of me and not even breaking a sweat. But I'm not going to let these mountains get between me and my wee staggies. Willie has made it clear that if we're going to get our stag, we need to get as high as possible and look down into the valleys. We're nearly at the top of the ridge. Now, we did see some stag and a group of hinds crawling up the ridge in front of us. And then they started motoring, so what we need to do now, they could be anywhere in one of these valleys, take our time glass, look for the top of his antlers, but that's the boy we're after right now. But patience here is key. The wind does move a lot coming through these valleys and hills, so even though it feels like it's in one direction, suddenly it will change. The last thing we need now is for the stag to wind us and take off. As we trek across the hilltops, it's clear there's no shortage of stags, as several roar out across the valley. And it isn't too long before we set our sights on a beautiful old stag. The stag we're looking for at the moment is really old. On one side, it's lost all of its points, it's literally just a spike. They're the perfect candidates to take up here, because they have an unfair advantage when it comes to sparring with younger bulls. On one side we've got a hind and 2 calves. On the other side we've got a younger stag. So it's really trying to piece our way through. It's like following a puzzle, trying not to upset one or more of the groups that are in our way. So this young stag here This course is a bit of a problem. Now the older one we want to get to is across that ridge, but these young ones in the way, so we're going to have to go back up and around to get around him. This is the problem with these luscious areas of forest. There's stags everywhere. Okay. We've just had to push that young spike on because he's in the way of us getting into position. This big stag over here is roaring and he's coming in, and the weather's going to be on top of us in a second, so we're going to have to push around and see if we can get into position now. As the sun begins to drop in the sky, we creep into a shooting position. So he just got into position there, and he came broadside just for a split second. I was about to squeeze off, and the hinds got spooked and moved away. So it's getting a little bit dark now. We know he's going to be around here, so we're going to go back and then come in again first thing in the morning. But so near, but so far. But that's stalking for you. A little disappointed with not getting our stag, we head down the mountain, but take solace in the fact there are plenty of great stags on these mountains. And with Willie as our guide, I'm confident we'll get our prize. So this morning has started, very much like last night finished. Lots of climbing, trying to get up to a good spot where we can see the valleys beneath us. As you can see, it's early o'clock. The sun's starting to brighten in the sky, but it's still kind of half light. This will help mask our approach. It's very difficult to see bodies against a backdrop, thick backdrop such as this, even though they've got a phenomenal view from where they are. And I've heard 3 separate stags roaring this morning, one over to our right, but the wind's coming from our left, one just in front of us and one further down the valley. So what we're going to do, get up to this ridge and see what we can see down below us. As soon as we can spot some hinds, we know there's going to be a stag pretty close. So it's up the mountain we go again, and it isn't long before we see plenty of life on the move. Then we spot this beautiful stag roaring away in front of us. It's a magnificent sight to behold. Okay, there's a stag right up in front of us, about 100 yards away, and he's roaring like a good one. We're just going to get around the top, get into position, hopefully take a shot. We creep slowly and carefully into a shooting position on the crest of the hill, overlooking the roaring beast on the next hilltop. Oh yeah. Shooting across the valley with the wind hurtling up the hillside can be very tricky indeed. My calculations need to be spot on, or otherwise my shot could be wayward. I take my time, but our stag begins to move. I need to shoot quickly, but shot placement is critical. Okay. He goes straight down and doesn't move. A perfect shot. Okay, now that's a perfect shot on a mature red stag. So, whether he was roaring away, so slightly quartering on, shot him in the front of the shoulder, we could see as he went down. The smoke coming out of the exit wound, which was towards, just offside the back of the rib cage. So it had gone through, probably hit his neck on the way through, took it straight down. Happy with the shot?
Yeah, perfect.
Well, let's go and get him.
Well done.
Thank you. What a hunt, what a stag, and amongst such breathtaking scenery. So look at him then, beautiful red coat, nice dark, deep mane, dark silvery face, and he was roaring away like a good one as we came up. Got some fantastic footage across the valley there. Now he was following a little group of hinds, so as he moved back up towards the top here, just kind of pushing him back into the valley there. We had a couple of times I could have taken a shot, but he just stood straight on. But then he started bellowing and roaring, and it really is a haunting and echoingly beautiful sound. And there's stags all over the valley here responding to him. So he's in pretty good shape, not as big in the body as I was expecting. We've seen some bigger stags up here. I'll have a quick little look at the exit wound here. The exit wound's quite high, probably about halfway up the body. Straight in through the shoulder, would have caught some of its neck, which is why he went straight down. But it's come out, would have taken out both lungs. I think we may have been shooting. Yeah, it's that rock over behind us, so pretty much parallel, maybe slightly uphill, about 4 or 5 meters uphill. It can be deceptive as you look between the two valleys. So we'll just roll him over and have a look at the entry wound. Yeah, it is. It's straight through the neck here at the front, straight through and out the other side at the back of the rib cage. Perfect shot. Took him down, no problem, no suffering, and I think you could see the smoke that was coming out of the rib cage as he breathed out, which is a good indication that both lungs were perforated. So a great shot, magnificent stag, and now the hard work begins. To find out more about the Ardgarten 77 Hawkeye or weather, visit vikingarms.com. Subscribe to Team Wild TV for the best hunting, airgun, gear and bow hunting videos on YouTube.